Well, hello, everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to Backstage, our online MBA event. We have three terrific European programs to feature today. ESMT Berlin, Vlerick Business School, and IE Business School. So three great countries and three great schools in Europe. And we're going to talk about their online MBA offerings. Let me introduce our guests first. We have from ESMT Berlin in Germany, Alexander Gerberich, the program manager for the Global Online MBA. We have from Vlerick, Fred Lemke, the program director of the Online MBA. And from IE Business School in Madrid, we have Andres, I'm going to screw your middle name up, I bet. Lattanzio?
Lattanzio, yeah.
Lattanzio Collins, who is the Global Recruitment Manager for IE's Global Online MBA. Let's start with like the basics. Tell me how long you've been offering your online MBA program, and give me a sense for how many people are enrolled in it. Let's start with you, Alexander.
Thank you very much, John. So the Global Online MBA at ESMT Berlin is quite young. It has only launched last year, and I've been there from the get-go, basically. But it has been in development since 2017. And at the moment, we are at 150 participants. And yes, we have 3 intakes a year. So each year, students can start joining our program in January, in May, and in September. And it's still growing.
That's great. I remember writing about it when it was introduced. And Alexander, how long does it take to complete the degree?
We are quite flexible in that. So students can complete the program either in 2 years or in 5 years. So if you want to follow the structure, then you can complete it in 2 years. But we know with students, especially with part-time students who are working, all of them working full-time, and some things can come up if there's family matters, changes in the job whatsoever. So students are allowed after finishing a module to take a break at any point. So we give them flexibility to finish the program in up to 5 years.
Right. So if for any reason, whether it's the demands at work or your personal life, where you need a little extra time, you can take it, and the program allows for that. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
Okay, Fred, tell me about your online MBA.
Right. Yes, so we developed it also 2017 and was also involved in this. There I delivered the marketing course of the online MBA. So I started with that. Then I became the director of the online MBA. So the first participants we welcomed in January 2018. So pretty much similar timeline there, as just mentioned before. And yeah, we are one of the first, possibly the first Northern European business school that brought it, to the market there. And yeah, it's about 5 years.
How many people are enrolled in the program?
It's about, from memory, when I looked last, also about 200, 210.
Oh, good program. Yeah. And how long does it take to complete the degree?
Yeah, again, that is the beauty of the online MBA, the flexibility. So on average, it's about 2.5 years there. But again, you can reduce it to 18 months if you select 2 courses in parallel. Doesn't happen that often, but the option exists. And you can also stretch it out to 5 years. So that window also exists there. Busy professionals. And so, you need that flexibility.
Absolutely. Andre, I know you've been in the online world for quite some time.
Yeah.
Tell me when you got started.
So we started actually more than 20 years ago. So we are pioneers in online education. And the program has been evolving ever since. So this is the reason, part of the reasons why we are top ranked as well. The program is number 3 according to Financial Times and number 1 according to QS, and we've held that position for many years now. So yeah, it's a program that is also very flexible, just like our colleagues here. And I might get a little ahead of myself, but you can also finish the program in 17 months, 24 months, and 30 months. So it's also quite quite flexible in terms of duration as well.
And what's your enrollment currently in that program?
So yeah, right now we have more or less 150 students a year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you have how many intakes a year?
2 intakes, one in February and the other one in September.
Right. I wonder if you could tell me, the balance of study. How many required courses versus how many electives might you have? And do you have, in fact, concentrations or specializations that students can take in your program? Let's stay with you, Andre.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the program is divided in 3 terms. The first 2 terms are the core modules, and the last term is the electives and the tracks module. So students have to take a total of six electives during this last term. And if they take 3 from the same area, that they will finish a concentration. We have concentrations on finance, marketing, and strategic management.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's great. Fred, how about you?
Yes. Well, here I really talk from the position of the general MBA or the global MBA that we offer in the online format. And so here, all the courses are mandatory. So here the participants, they have to cover all areas that are relevant for business. So marketing, operations, supply chain management, strategy, finance, and so forth. Overall, 13 courses in the program, plus the key up, as we call it. It's the knowledge and action project. It's the final project, call it the 14th course. There is quite substantial. So all areas that are important for business, that's covered, no particular concentration there.
Great. And that final course, the 14th course, is that an experiential learning project with an assignment or what?
It is, they work on typically on their very own business. So here they zoom into a particular challenge that they need to solve from the business point of view, and completely solidly underpinned by academic, thinking theories and so forth, but very much applied, very much hands-on. So it's on their business. So they put it straight into action. Yeah.
Wow. So that suggests to me that it's very entrepreneurial, your program, almost meant for people who want to do their own thing.
Absolutely. That's, well, I suppose it comes from right in the beginning when Vlerick Business School has been founded. So we have a rich 70-year history by the professor Andre Vlerick, and he used to be an entrepreneur. And that gene is still pretty much alive here, and we see ourselves as the home of entrepreneurial leaders in the heart of Europe. So yeah, entrepreneurial, yeah, it's pretty much us.
Terrific. I love how it really maintains your roots, your original roots.
Yeah.
And Alexander at ESMT, what's the balance between mandatory courses that are in the core and your elective offerings, and whether or not you have concentrations?
I think it's pretty similar to what Fred described. So we have in total 7 modules. All students start with the first module, which is called Managing in a Connected World, and it's a bit shorter than the other modules. Then we have 4 core modules that are also mandatory. And then we have, as however you want to call it, module 5 or elective module. There students can choose electives, and they can choose between experience weeks, which are one of the actual in-person events or courses that students can take. Then, of course, we are offering our own program electives, and students can also participate in courses at other universities who are part of the GNM network. And then, as usual, we also have the final project to sum everything up, what students learned throughout the program.
Right. Now, Alexander, do you require any on-campus immersions or weekends, or is it strictly online?
No, not at all. So it's basically if students don't want to come to Berlin or can't come to Berlin, it's not required at all. But of course, there is this opportunity. We have, as part of the electives, we have the so-called Berlin Experience Week, where students can come to campus. And this is like 5 days, which is a mixture between lectures, company visits, and also, of course, cultural events here in Berlin. And this is like the main opportunity or the only opportunity where students can come to campus, can come to Berlin if they want to. And apart from that, we also have the Global Experience Week, which takes place somewhere else, which is also an opportunity to meet each other in person. And similar to Berlin Experience Week, a mixture between lectures, company visits, and so on.
Since it's voluntary, do most of your online students take advantage of these experience weeks?
Definitely so far. So we had our first Berlin Experience Week in July this year, and it was really, really popular. I would say, I think, except maybe for 5 students out of the first intake, everyone came here, and it was a great experience for all of us, for us as ESMT, but of course also for students to meet each other for the first time and have this experience. It was really great.
Yeah, I'm sure. And it's almost as if they've been together a long time. I've seen reunions like that for online students, and it's remarkable how well they bond and connect with each other. And you really see that when they meet each other face to face for the first time, and you'd think they'd known each other for years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It felt like a reunion. They were like, now finally we see each other again, and oh, you look a bit different than usually when we just see you on screen. So yeah.
Oh, you're not wearing your pajamas today.
Exactly.
Fred, do you have on-campus activities of any kind or immersions?
Yes, as well. I mean, the online MBA, yes, it happens online, but yeah, we also offer here company visits, workshops, career days, meet and greet sessions where they can mingle with, our executive MBAs, full-time MBAs, really to expand the network beyond the online MBA there. We have webinars, we have the online MBA cafe. They really love it. We have it twice a year, and participants come together, touch base over some drinks or dinner there, typically in spring and autumn time there. They're always invited to really come along and on campus, book a room so that they can work there, go to the library here. And something that I find really fascinating is that, they are so active. They're exactly what you mentioned there, that they come together and, they enjoy that networking, and we have just the same. So here they get organized, they run marathons together. We have participants in Switzerland, they reach out to each other there. Pretty much self-driven there, and they really enjoy the moments. We just had a new cohort starting in September, and, they already had their first dinner. Pretty much, they organize it themselves. Then we have international trips as well, not essential part of the program, but they have the options also to join the executive MBAs, trips to Asia, Africa, US, Shanghai, Silicon Valley, South Africa. So there are these moments, where they also participate. Yeah.
So plenty of opportunities to connect with each other and connect with faculty as well. Yes.
Absolutely.
And Andre, at IE, do you have face-to-face events in your online opportunity?
Yeah, of course. So throughout the 17 months the program lasts, there are 3 residential modules in Madrid. Each residential module is more or less 1 week long. So they happen in the beginning of the program, in the beginning of the 2nd term, and the end of the 3rd term. If students can't come to our campus because, for any reason, they can also join those residential modules online. So it's also a possibility to finish the program 100% online, or a combination, coming and not coming. And apart from this, we also have Global Immersion Week that takes place in a different destination around the world. Students get the option of choosing between 4 destinations. So they are Berlin, Singapore, Dubai, and San Francisco. So they would go, to one of those cities. They would do some company visits. They would also have some courses at top universities in those cities. So it's another great chance for them to mingle and to interact and to grow the network even more, because students from all intakes of the year come to that residential week, and students from other programs as well. So they'll be able to connect also with executive MBA students.
Great.
Apart from this, we have our clubs all over the world, where students can also their classmates and other students. Clubs like the yacht club, the snowboarding club, the speech club. So yeah, there's also another chance for them to interact with the IE community.
Now, Andre, since you've been at this for some time with IE having an online option for 20 years or so, I wonder what the school has learned about online learning over those years.
So
What surprises are there?
I would say that, apart from what some candidates out there might think, this is a great chance for them to grow their network and to, have those deep connections that other students in full-time programs do as well. We've perfected, this networking opportunities within, our program. Students are able to make connections for life. Students are divided into different work groups every single term. They are in their colleagues' kitchen every day, or they're in the colleagues' salon, in their TV family room. So they are able to connect with them in a very personal manner. Also, recruiters, are looking for online MBA students because, if you're able to juggle between life, work, and academics, it means that you are prepared for the outside world. And even nowadays, with teams that are multinational, with teams that are located all over the world, this is a great opportunity for students to learn how to deal with those types of teams and have experience with international cultures.
Right. I mean, the other thing for recruiters is that they can hire at any time because online students are fully employed. They don't have to wait until a school year is over. So you can have just-in-time hiring, which is also a big advantage for an employer who needs talent. Now, Alexandra and Fred, you have relatively new programs. And so I wonder what has most surprised you about the students and the learning itself since you've launched these online MBA programs relatively recently. Fred, why don't you take that first?
Yeah, it's I'm surprised. By hindsight, not anymore. I mean, the eagerness to learn. They see the value in contributing, being part of the community, contributing to the learning experience of others. The entire engagement part online. First when I was new to this, I didn't foresee that. But to have this tight-knit, relationship and bond, that is really quite striking there. Also something that we certainly learned, besides creating this immersive, online environment where you can really learn in different ways, with our learning designers there, also that, guidance and support is so important. And that is something, we build up over the time where we have so many different ways of supporting students, be with them on the journey, engaging with them, and they're never left alone. Yeah, and that is so important when doing the program online. That is something I can imagine many participants initially are a little bit worried about, and to take away that worry and to stay with them and give them a second home, if you like. That is something, that came over the years.
Yeah, interesting. Alexander, what has surprised you in ESMT Berlin about your online learning project here?
I think I would have to second what Fred said. This community aspect, this community that students were able to form within a completely online environment, even before they met for the first time for the Berlin Experience Week, it was really remarkable, like supporting each other throughout the journey, even organizing their own virtual social events, stuff like that. So it was really remarkable, and this collaborative atmosphere that they have created. And also the eagerness to work closely with us as a school. It has been really a pleasure from my side, as I'm the program manager, to support them throughout their journey. And they're really, really engaged and open to share ideas, to share their own experiences, to us as a school, but also to each other. And this was really great. And I was very happy to see that. And also what would be surprising, I think, for others, that even if they're not physically here at ESMT, they have become a major part of the ESMT community. There are different events here which we offer also both online and offline. So we really make sure that they feel as part of the school, and I think this was really remarkable.
Yeah. I wonder if each of you could comment on how your online MBA students differ from your face-to-face students in your on-campus programs. Are they older? Are they more have more work experience? Have less? Are you finding that actually more and more younger students are attracted to online MBA programs as an alternative to more traditional on-campus programs? What are the gender splits in these programs compared to your full-time residential programs? Alexandra, let's start with you on that.
So here at ESMT, we have the full-time MBA and the Master in Management. And compared to these two in-person programs, I can say that for the Global Online MBA, the average age is higher, and therefore also the experience, the work experience, definitely. Regarding the gender split, I would say also it's a bit more female participants. I think with the last intake, so the intake September 2022, we even had like a 50-50%, which was really great. We were happy to see that. But yeah, I would say in general, also as this is a part-time program, so this means that everybody works. So this is also a big differentiation to the other programs.
So it sounds that maybe even more similar to an executive MBA kind of cohort.
Definitely, I would agree. And also, of course, it's a bit more diverse regarding we have students from all over the world, and they're still located not in Germany, but all over the world. And yeah, this is also different to the other programs.
So even your international diversity is greater in your online program than it might be in your face-to-face program.
I would say so, yes, definitely.
Interesting. Fred, what's the class profile at your school, and how does it compare with your residential MBA?
Yeah, well, the online MBA compares quite nicely with the executive MBA, I have to say. So here, the age is late 30s, 38, 39, very much experienced in the workplace there. In terms of gender split, I have to say we are not at 50-50 there. Yeah, not yet. I mean, that's a good number. We are about 1/3 females and 2/3 men at the moment there. In order to change that, particularly now looking at the future, we have now different scholarships also to contribute to our diversity, equality, inclusion scheme. And here we would like to get also or encourage more females also to apply. And here we also have the female empowerment scholarship, for instance, things like that. It's changing. It's changing there. Yeah, 2/3, 1/3. I would love to see 50-50.
Yep. I know a lot of schools are aiming for gender parity, as what we call it in the United States. At IE, is the class profile similar to your executive MBA as well?
I would say it's slightly more similar to the full-time MBA, to the international MBA. We have an executive MBA, but the executive MBA's average years of experience is about 13 and 14. But for the global online MBA, it's more or less between 8 and 9. And for the full-time MBA, it's more or less between 5 and 6, more or less. So yeah, it's much more similar to the full-time MBA, actually.
Right. And what about your gender split?
So right now, the last intake was 35% female, 65% male. A year ago, we did 55% female and 45% male, which was great. And this is also due to many scholarships as well for women. We want to encourage them as much as we can to apply. We have various different initiatives for this to happen, to make it 50-50.
Right. Very good. Now, many people in the past believed that if you went for an online MBA, it was best suited for someone who wanted to accelerate their career in their existing company or industry. And it was less suited for those who wanted to pivot and change careers, either through their function, through their industry, company, and geography. most people thought that, you know, a full-time residential program would be better for that. Do you agree with that, or are you seeing more people who are getting an online MBA and using it to move away from their company and their position and try something new and different? Andre?
So there are many motivations for doing an online MBA. It can be switching industries, switching, relocating. It can also be or growing inside their companies as well. So for this reason, every single student at the Global Online MBA has a career coach assigned to them that can help them achieve their career objectives. I wouldn't say that there is a trend that I'm seeing right now. I would say it's a split between those and some people that want to do even a combination of those. So they want to switch industries and they also want to relocate. So this is why the career coach is very important, because apart from, you know, advising them about, you know, ways to, you know, achieve their career objectives, they can also help them by doing mock interviews. They help them by introducing them to IE community members at work at whatever company they're targeting. They can also help them by tailoring their CV to the company they're targeting and so on. So career transformation is a very important part and a central part of the Global Online MBA.
Right. Alexander, what's your take on what the online degree is best suited for?
So as we are a relatively young program, we have no graduating class, so we don't know what happens in the future for them. But of course, what I know from talking to students, it's actually similar. It's of course accelerating their career, so staying within the company and accelerating. We have, which is really great in our curriculum, we have what students learn they can immediately implement in their jobs, and I think this is what students really appreciate about our program. But of course, we have also already seen some students who changed companies and who said that the Global Online MBA, or showing that they are currently studying the Global Online MBA, has really helped them. So I would say it's both. Definitely learning more, getting how to get better, what to implement in the career, and then see what comes.
Right. And Fred, I'm assuming you've seen the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, participants, you know, they have different motivations, but they certainly look for making an advancement in their career, but also looking for a change. And so the online MBA, it enables them to realize both of these goals there. Now, the online component here, I think it's quite important to emphasize, because, you know, it brings us to digitalization, which plays such a central role in virtually all businesses. And so communication, interaction with their teams, with customers, are all qualities that every manager has to bring to the table. And here we create this, you know, immersive, engaging online education and conducting business in a digitalized environment, where that becomes second nature to our participants. So here I actually would see more the advantages of running it online, actually.
Yeah. And
Days,
increasingly, especially since the pandemic, more and more work is remote. People are working remotely all over the world. Even when they're in the office, they're working remotely because their teams are scattered all over the world in far-flung places. So the only way they can work is through Zoom and connecting with each other, which is the same way now you can learn. Fred, I wonder if you were to say what the standout features of your program are, what differentiates it from others out there, what would you say?
Well, what can I say? First of all, the internationalization, I would say. There we have, you know, here we have participants that come from all around the world. Just in terms of our faculty alone, we see that also here as being important. We have 12 nationalities here that, you know, contribute to the program. It is certainly the way how we integrate the latest trends in the program, such as sustainability, for instance, digital developments. Here, we infused these, you know, in all of our courses here in the program there. And certainly, this is pretty much that's also on our agenda, is keeping the online MBA future-proof. So basically, always improving, always taking on the latest trends, and try to stay ahead of the game there, to put our participants in the best position to make the best out of their careers. Yeah.
And we know the world of business is changing very rapidly.
Oh,
And
Yes,
also
John,
did
absolutely.
quite a job, particularly with analytics, business, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, you name it. There's plenty of new things to learn and explore and understand in this world.
Yeah, and then to have the participants then to enable them to assume a leadership role, and in all of this.
Right.
It's so challenging, but it's something that in our program, I mean, that cuts through the entire program, leadership development components, at different stages of their journey, and then to coach them to give them that confidence to move forward and inspire others. Yeah.
Right. Alexander, what makes your program stand out?
I would say that so we really care for each and every one of our students. So we really have a close and engaged support system right from the get-go. So from admissions throughout the courses until graduation and even afterwards, we really care for each other, for the students, and we really want to ensure that they succeed in all their ways. And apart from that, I think we also really value the online MBA as an MBA, so we don't differentiate between the other MBAs. We make no distinction here at ESMT. We have our world-class faculty teaching across all programs. The same academic rigor is applied in every program, so there's really no differentiation, and it is an MBA. So yeah, I really want to highlight that. Yeah, maybe these are the first two things that would come to my mind.
Great. Okay. And Andre, how would you differentiate the IE experience?
So to start with, every single session is live. There's no pre-recorded modules or anything of that sort. So we try to mimic a real life classroom in an online environment. So students don't have to digest information at their own, whenever they have some time during the day or anything like that case. They'll always be accompanied by a professor and by their classmates, which is, it's very important to foster a proper learning environment. Also, we're looking for a diverse class in all the sense of the word. So students can be sitting next to someone who's, an account manager, someone who works in finance, someone who works in marketing, but someone who's also perhaps an entrepreneur, or someone who's a medical doctor. Even we have those every now and then. So diversity is a central part of the program. Diversity also in terms of nationalities. We have students connecting from California to New Zealand, so covering every single continent. So that also, creates a great conversations in class about how to approach different problems. If there is a student that's opening a new market in Jordan and they have a student from Jordan, they can, approach them. How do you do this? How do you do that? So diversity is a pivotal part of the program. And yeah, there's also an entrepreneurial mindset when it comes to this program. Students have to do an entrepreneurial project for the final project. Some of them actually, come to life and students get to do their own projects. And yeah, I would say those are some of the differentiation points.
Great. Now, Andre, when someone comes to you and says they're interested in your online blended experience, what are the most common questions they ask you about it?
So I think some of the most common questions are the ones that we are covering right now.
Yes.
Basic things such as duration, class size, the academic contents. Those are the very, very common questions. They also ask us how the global online MBA differs from the full-time MBA and from the executive MBAs. So, questions like that.
Do they ask about employer acceptance of the online degree?
Yeah, they do ask about that.
What do you say about that?
If I may just touch on the point that I was saying a few minutes ago about recruiters, and recruiters all over the world, paying attention to those students that have an online degree because of the fact that, they are able to juggle between different things in their life. So these are students that are able to work under pressure, which is, very, very sought for. These are students that have experience dealing with teams that are from different nationalities, different backgrounds, different ways of life. And these are students that, are able to we're able to ask questions about real life cases that they might be having at the works in the program. So I don't see any handicap to put it that way when students are looking for a job if they do an online program.
Right, great. Alexander, what kind of advice would you give someone who's looking into doing an online MBA and is uncertain whether or not the online route is the best way, or they should go and quit their jobs and come for a year to get a full-time MBA? What's your advice to them? What questions should they be asking themselves to make that decision?
I think they should really, what I mentioned before, like if they're open to, or if they want to learn something and quickly apply to it, so quickly apply to it in your job, in your current position, then I think the online MBA would definitely be a good place. And also, if you're looking to learn more about like global cooperation, how to work in a global team, how to work in global study groups, I think this would be also a thing. If you want to learn about this, the online MBA is a great place for this. And in general, I think we have seen it in the pandemic, like remote work, the virtual environment is getting more and more important, and the global online MBA is a place to get used to it and get tips and tricks and learn it how to work in such an environment. Yeah.
True. And you obviously save on opportunity costs. And as mentioned here before, you get to apply what you learn immediately on the job and improve your efficiency and your productivity, hopefully your fulfillment as well, which are crucial elements of an online MBA experience. Fred, do you have anything to add in terms of what a candidate might be considering, the questions that they should ask themselves over whether or not they're the right fit for an online experience?
I mean, Alexander covered it also
Yes.
really quite well. So it's really, the first question, can you take 1 year or 1.5 years out of your business life? Yeah, that's the first question. Can you do that? If so, well, you're in a very good position. Yeah, but it's unlikely, and you certainly would like to blend both. It's, the online MBA, it's about business. You are in business. So here you would really like to put the knowledge straight into action and then to feed it back. This is also what the other participants are doing. And so here that really enriches the entire discussion on certain topics. So that is very important. Plus, you can reduce it up to 18 months. So then you do it in an online environment, you have your job, and you earn your MBA. And maybe just one point to come back to is because we hear that also quite regularly, where participants or potential participants are in doubt. Is it the same degree? Is it the same sort of quality that I learn here, from the online MBA compared to another? Well, we are triple accredited, so there is a particular standard, we need to fulfill it, and this has absolutely the same quality level. And so the certificates they receive says at the end executive MBA, because they are executives. Yeah, right. Rather than saying online MBA, it is an executive MBA because it has absolutely the same quality to it.
Right. How do you think your online MBA is going to evolve over the next 3 to 5 years? What changes do you foresee? I mean, you mentioned earlier how faculty are continually evolving the curriculum and bringing in new ideas and new concepts because the world of business is changing rapidly. But I wonder, are there other things that you see in terms of more experiential learning, more emphasis on certain areas in the future?
Yeah. John, shall I continue or?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly you mentioned its international aspect. That is something that also, at Vlerick becomes more and more prominent there. That's also the reason why, in terms of flexibility, the offering, it goes with that aspects where we offer certain modules when we have these live moments. We call these live synchronous sessions. There are 3 per course, either in the morning or in the afternoon, depending on the time zone you are. So this flexibility is quite important because everything becomes more international. Second point I would like to highlight is certainly, the initiative on, diversity, equality, inclusion. So here, in the way of, the cases that we use, to teach content, the business experts that contribute to the program, the industry examples, and so forth, it becomes more and more diverse because the world is diverse. And so this is then fully integrated in the MBA. Another point here I think is worthwhile highlighting is the collaboration also with other leading business schools. Here I mentioned the FOAM Alliance, FOAM short for Future of Management Education. Again, joining forces with other leading business schools, it offers the opportunity for selecting electives, things like that. So that's coming. Looking at the future here, certainly something that is on our agenda. And sustainability and digital developments. That is also something, that infuse in the program in the future and in the time to come. Very important.
Absolutely. Alexander, how do you see your online MBA evolving over the next 3 to 5 years?
Really excited about what will come, and definitely apart from the content-wise, so keeping our program relevant and up to technical and societal developments. I think which we will further explore is how to take advantage of the digital environment and deliver exciting experiences. For example, what we're doing already is for our live classes, so the synchronous events, the synchronous lectures, we are not using not just Zoom, but we're using like a software Engagely, which is really it creates a feeling of sitting in a virtual environment. And we are definitely keep on looking into other opportunities, other digital opportunities we can use, maybe even going into the virtual reality route. Who knows? So I think this will definitely be one thing which we will develop in the future. And apart from that, I think when looking at our electives, I think there's also much more content to explore, maybe also going into the direction of artificial intelligence, covering sustainability content. So this will be definitely something which we will further expand during the course of the next years.
Yeah, I think VR could be a very interesting exercise. I mean, I have participated in a few of these, and it's pretty wild stuff. It's really amazing, frankly. Okay, Andre, what do you see in the future for IE's global online program?
Yeah, so this program has been evolving ever since it started. And for the future, I see that it can even become even more flexible. So I see flexibility as a big part of the program in the near future. Right now, we offer the Business Essentials package, which is, with Coursera, so students can actually start the program via Coursera, do a few courses there. If they decide they can start the global online MBA later. So I see much more, interaction between different ways of learning. So one day they can do the program, they can perhaps come to campus and take some courses on campus. They can, so a combination of everything. I see flexibility in the future for sure.
How long have you had the Business Essentials pathway into the program with Coursera?
We just started it.
Okay,
so we launched like 2 months ago. Yeah.
No wonder.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I wanted to thank all of you for participating here. I think we learned a lot about your programs and the different approaches that you're taking to online education. For all of you out there, if you want to know more, you can do 2 things. You can watch this video again. You can watch another webinar that we're doing on career management at each of these schools through the programs. And more importantly, you can go to their websites and see tremendous amounts of detail on each of the programs, what it takes to get in, what the dates are for the application deadlines, how many intakes they have, the structure of the program, the career outcomes of the students. So I would urge you to do that as well. Meantime, Andre, Alexandra, and Fred, thank you so much for participating. It was a joy to see all of you, even if only virtually, but that's our world today, and that's how you're delivering this online MBA. So that's all copacetic to me. All right, thank you so much. And this is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. You've been watching our backstage event on the best European online MBAs available. Thanks for watching.